Hello, this is the third video we're doing for currency, going through some questions that come through on the Twitter and the Facebook through the week. And the first question we're going to deal with is from Mina Reader, and she wants to know if there's any books or any sort of literature that she could read, as she was a complete beginner to trading and Forex in general. What I would actually suggest is the first thing you need to get right is some idea of what your personality is, or what you're trying to looking for out of trading. And so I think the first book that anybody should read, and anyone who has been trading, whether they're a professional or a retail person, should read a book called The Disciplined Trader, which is by a guy called Mark Douglas. Extremely useful, just packed full of insight and the understanding of what it takes to become a consistent trader. And that's really what you're looking for, is consistency and the ability to follow a game plan. So that would be the first book that I would suggest to anybody to read, because that way you won't get cluttered up with a lot of what can be very, very conflicting information. There's literally thousands of trading books out there, and if you read 20, you'd probably get a whole sequence of conflicting information about what you should do, what you shouldn't do. I think the first thing to do is to get the basics right of what is in your mind in terms of understanding your own personality and what you're looking for, and trying to create some rules and discipline in what you do. If you do that, then you can start going to look at reading books on trading specifically, and I'll probably give you some recommendations on that in future ones. Second question is from Anwar Lukman, and it says, what pairs do you always trade? Well, what I do is I go looking for opportunities, and so to a certain extent I don't really care what the name of the code is at the top of the chart. What I'm doing is I'm not trying to force myself into always trading the same thing over and over again. Personally, I find that I can get a little bit too close to a market, overtrade it, see things that aren't really there. And so I'm much more interested in scanning a multitude of markets and then finding the setups and the situations that I know work for me and how I look at markets. Having said that, in Forex, obviously, I'm always looking at the euro-dollar. Being English, I'm always looking at the pound against a variety of currencies. Sometimes I might look at dollar Canada because I have a specific setup that's on the S&P, and I might find that there's a better opportunity in dollar Canada because of its very close correlation to the S&P. If I'm looking for a commodity play, if I think commodities are causing me issues, or we're at different parts of the interest rate cycle as we are at the moment, certainly in Australia, then I might zoom in and have a look at that. So they're not things that I always trade, they are things that I always look at. This one's from Adenyi Banjo, got some great names today, and he's asking me, when do I think the euro-dollar is going to stop falling? Well, I'm not so presumptuous to tell the market when it has to stop. Very much the chart tells me, I don't tell the chart. I just have setups that I trade, and then I get involved. There's really two things that really came out of this week's price action. The Fed raised the discount rate. For those that don't know, the discount rate is what the banks can deal with each other at, and so it's not the same as actually raising interest rates for the general public. However, normally when we get the first sign of interest rates starting to fall or interest starting to rise, then that's the process that lasts a considerable amount of time. So when's the euro-dollar going to stop falling? Well, it had a bit of a short covering rally very late in the day on Friday. It's really much after London was coming to the end of its day. I'm not sure whether that move is real. I'm always very concerned about moves that happen late on a Friday because of thinness in the market. So as long as the market is, the euro-dollar is below 138.40 to 80, then it's still in a downtrend. There isn't a great deal of support. There is some in the low 131s and then again in the low 127s. Ultimately, it could go all the way as low as 121.65, I think it is, which is a very, very big level. So yes, it could fall further. I'm not so presumptuous to tell it what to do though, so just watch that key level on the upside.